Today, I'm doing more welding. You notice it's up on its other side. I'll turn this fan off too. There we go. We're really kicking into summer here. Anyway, what I'm doing now is on this side, welding up all my seams. Now I've seen a lot of hot rods, cars, rat rods, whatever you want to call them, street rods, getting built. And one of the ways is they use a smaller diameter rod or tube and make a subfloor and put the subfloor on the frame, or channel it down around the frame, or so on and so have you. This is another way of doing it. It's the way I was taught. My dad had been doing it for years, and that's how he showed me, especially when you got a body that you're putting together or it's very flimsy, it's pieces, was you get your frame rails, which this is a kind of collaboration of different types of steel. The front horns or front portion is 2x4 channel, which we used when it was harder to get 2x4 box tubing at the time, and it was a lot more expensive. It was just the only thing we had laying around was a bunch of channel, and then when we started using it, we actually started liking it. Now it is more work. It is when you have to box, when you want to box it in, you have to put a plate on the other side of the open channel. But in doing our street rod and the frames and stuff from scratch, it actually turned out better, because when you're doing the welding on that one side, it wanted to pull the frame around into an arc. And usually the arc was in your favor of making a nice swoopy frame. And provided you did both your rails together and tried to keep your welding and stuff to a minimum, you can basically pair them up. You'd have a left and right. But anyway, back to how this can be made, is you do your frame rails, and then here, because he was making, he wanted this body to be extremely strong for what its job was going to be, and so he used 14 gauge steel. So you basically make your frame rails, and on the bottom of the frame rail, you shoot out 2 pieces of steel. This would have been 14 gauge. He would have started out with probably about 12 to 14 inches wide, and just put it on the bottom of the frame. Tacked it on there. And then he would have set the body down on top of it. And then the bottom edge of the body, he could tack it or untack it as he wanted to move the body in and out. So it gave him a base of something square and flat to start with. And you can do that with all your, the last 50 we did like that. The 2-door sedan, we did like that. His Model A coupes, we did like that. I should say he did like that. And that's just how they, it also is a weight saving, because you're not basically putting, even though the tube 1x1 or 1 1/4 or 1/2x1/2 or whatever you're using for square tube is lighter, but it's still additional weight. And where you can go up on the size of steel and not gain as much. And even if it is the same, you get a lower profile, because all that stuff has to stack, or unless you're going to notch your frame to take the rails in those spots, or dip it down, or however it is that much, whether it's an inch, 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, whatever, it's just that much you gain by not doing it that way. Now, I'm not saying do yours that way. You do you. Remember my motto: go out in the garage and have fun. You do you. Don't do me. Or else it Don't do what I do. Go out and do you. How's that? but that's where we're at. So I put an additional gusset in here, where he kind of boxed this channel up. So I started with just the body without a floor and these frame rails. And in fact, it had a different suspension on it. I changed that up to standard street rod. I don't know, they call it suicide front axle. I'm not sure what suicide about it. The ones that have the tie rod link out in front they always felt that would be the first thing to get smacked. And they did, I'm sure. By parking curbs and stuff of that nature in the parking lot. But anyway, so that's where we're at. So I got cane coat on the side. We're doing all the buttoning up and welding on this. It has been tacked and welded from the top. Not fully, but mostly. And then I come through and I run a bead on the bottom. So that gives me two places of connection. Even if I was to smooth out, grind down one side, she still will be pretty solid. And this was 2x2 by 1/8 inch wall, I believe. And I think I estimated the car somewhere around, in its current condition with no trunk lid, basically no doors, nothing inside except for the roll cage. She's about 600-ish. I'll say in there. And that's in this half, the body half. The rail, this wasn't too bad. If I can lift it, that means it's probably somewhere, it was easy enough, 250, 300 maybe. But the back, it took some oomph to get her off the ground. And let's see what else. That's about it. See, I've already, this will be fuel line and brake line. Coming out pretty good. Cross member's pretty good. Now, like I had mentioned when I was doing this cross member, that this becomes a strong piece here, joining these two up. So you don't see a cross member going completely through, but because this is right there at the cross member, and it's two pieces of bent steel welded together with that arch, it creates a amount of strength to it. Plus, this is 16 gauge floor. 16 gauge, 16 gauge. That's all 16. These are 14s. And this tunnel is 18. And it's all welded in solid. But once you make that U and then weld that into the floor, that makes that a fairly rigid point. Yeah, it's coming out pretty good. Everything's sitting pretty flat. I don't have a lot of warble to her, but I shouldn't with the 16 and the 14. Shouldn't move too much. Yeah. And then I weld and I let her cool, let it pull, and then I come back and I do some more. And that's where we're at. Finished this here. Did some finish weld around my radius rod points. Now that's a tube through the channel. That's been welded in. These were some old spots here. You know, stuff you've probably seen as we went through. All this stuff will get trimmed up and close finished off. This will get more grinding on it. Yeah. But it takes time. Time. The rotisserie for the rat rod is working really well. I tickled to death. It's working great. It's working great. In fact, I was thinking to myself, boy, I wish I could have used one of these several years ago. When we were doing these bodies. The other street rods. And yeah, so that's my little blurb now for Road Toad Garage. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. It don't matter to me. Ask away. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. I try to document a lot of this stuff, so one of these days, if my kids are working on it or whatever, then they know what Pop did. And I wish I would have had this type of stuff when my poppers were. Alright, well, as I say, don't do what I do, go out and do you. Go out in the garage, have fun. God bless, and Toad out. I hope I was centered in the screen here.